Hi guys, welcome to Counterfire. My name is Connor, and today we're going to be watching a little reaction from Ethan Klein, checking out his former podcast host, Hasan Piker, and I'm going to let them bring you a little bit of content before I start breaking down the lore and context behind this. So let's check out what's going on Mr. Hasan Piker's channel that has Ethan Klein perturbed.
Hasan comes back from the bathroom. We've now digested a minute and 10 seconds of unmitigated terrorist propaganda. Here they are holding up the signs, as I pointed out, that says death to Israel, curse upon the Jews, death to America, right there on display.
Okay, so let's go ahead and break down what's going on here. So Mr. Ethan is a Jewish fella from Beverly Hills, California. I don't know where he met his wife, Hila, but Hila is Israeli. They both traveled and lived in Israel for a little bit, but they now make their home in Los Angeles. They are now quite wealthy, quite well-to-do YouTubers who started out doing reactions. So they would find stupid videos, they would laugh about them, they would talk about them, they would make jokes, etc., etc. They ended up being wildly successful, and as a result of that success, they, built a platform for themselves and actually started H3H3 Productions, which is a podcast that they still do to this day. Now, Hasan Piker is the largest political streamer in the Western world. He's the largest political streamer on Twitch, and he makes hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a year commenting on politics. And as a result, Ethan Klein had some progressive sympathy, so it was like, hey, why don't we do like a politics-centered podcast on a frequent basis, and you can be my co-host. And they did it, and it was successful for a couple of years. And they liked each other until October 7th. And what happened was, on October 7th, Hamas launched into Israel and slaughtered civilians, and Hasan did horrific terrorist apologia, making excuses for why slaughtering civilians was okay, making excuses for why, it was justified, making excuses for why the Israel regime needs to be taken down. And as a result, Ethan respectfully sympathized with the plight of Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank and wants it to resolve for them to have more humane conditions. But he couldn't really take how disgusting Hasan and his audience was being, like Hasan's portion of the audience. And so as a result, they broke up and they had a ceasefire for a while. Well, that ceasefire is done, okay? And the reason why that ceasefire is done is because Hasan has continued to openly simp for terrorist organizations, going so far as to broadcast Houthi propaganda onto Twitch. It's amazing.
A 3-minute video of... What do you mean a music video? When you said music video, I'm expecting like Bags Out, but Chris Brown dancing,
No. They do they do musicals. They're very musical people.
Are you being serious?
Dog, look, you think I made this?
I know they're singing, but I'm seeing his guns and shit. This isn't a music video, Hasan.
No, it is. They do musicals about like their fucking their actions all the time.
Yeah, that's called terrorist propaganda. They do it to package it in a nice way, to appeal to a broader audience, and Hasan is doing exactly their bidding, more than they could have ever dreamed of, by broadcasting this directly into the main line of Twitch.
And they love walking over. They love walking over like the American flag and the Israeli flag side by side. They will always like march on it. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet.
We stormed Al Dude, Saudi military style. Again, they're just talking about their military exploits at this point.
They do not care about the heavy missiles. Like they will literally take the war to them no matter what.
Okay. And this is another comment that's really funny, okay? So there's flags that say death to Israel, death to America, etc., etc. Hasan is, in my opinion, openly simping for the Houthis as a part of this. And for those of you who don't know, I'll do a really quick geopolitical breakdown. Israel, obviously majority Jewish. They are in fights with local Palestinians in the West Bank and in Gaza. 10/7 happens, and then they start, bombarding and attacking Hamas in Gaza, and there's a lot of civilian death. Well, what happens is the Houthis, who are a Iranian-backed Shia governmental organization in Yemen, which is south of Saudi Arabia and south of the Suez Canal, says, oh, well, we don't like what's going on in Israel, so we're going to start shooting missiles into random cargo ships and stealing and kidnapping crews from random cargo ships. So Hasan is also supporting that. And on top of that, he had a young Houthi gentleman who's a Houthi propagandist onto his program, who has also actively tweeted about how he wants to spike Zionists similar to Vlad the Impaler. And Hasan is making excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse for why this is acceptable and normal behavior. And looking at, the propaganda or whatever, the funniest thing about like, oh, they don't care about the heavy missiles. Well, I'm sorry to tell you and to tell Frogan, Mr. Hasan Piker, but currently the Houthis are getting their stuff stomped in, okay? They're getting bombed. They're cut off from the rest of the world. They have limited resources, and they're controlling a country only through fear and intimidation because they are a minority sect of the population, and they are exercising political control through force, and they are depriving their people of resources by attacking the international community. So the Houthis are losing super hard. Also, I don't know if you know this, but Hamas, the representative government/terrorist organization in Gaza, also is getting its stuff pushed in. And what I mean by that is the architect of October 7th was announced as killed today, and there's pictures and videos of him in a very poor sorts being broadcast by the IDF right now. So you're laughing, you think it's funny, you think it's cute to broadcast terrorist propaganda onto Twitch, who should absolutely pay a consequence for this, and yet the people that you're rooting for are absolutely getting annihilated right now. So good job choosing the wrong side, excusing moral horror, and thinking that it's funny.
Yeah, no, they're awesome. And once again, sharing very supportive, flowery, supportive language about the Houthis, who, as I've shown, is a disgusting, vicious terrorist organization.
It's an act of for them, it's an act of resistance. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
This poor guy, man. He did not sign up for this.
He's in OTK. And
I was wondering who he is. He's pretty funny.
Yeah, Nick Pollum.
Is he a WoW player?
Back in the days, yeah.
What does he do?
Yeah, so
He's a gamer.
originally a WoW player.
I don't know anything
yeah.
about him, but I thought he was very funny and likable in these clips.
Yeah, he's great. He's a funny guy.
Oh my God.
He wasn't mean to Hasan, by the way, or like judgy. He was just like, what the fuck is happening? So he handled himself pretty well.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Oh man.
Yes.
You know what? I also took a McDonald's sponsor and I drink Starbucks.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. Don't hate me.
Good job.
So there it is. Yeah, that right there. Something similar to that caused the apocalypse on YouTube. Twitch, however, I think it's officially sanctioned by the CEO.
Okay. And then Mr. Ethan Klein makes another excellent point, which is the fact that being edgy on YouTube is what caused the adpocalypse. And so if I remember correctly, I think it was actually right-wing YouTubers at the time, but they were being fairly edgy and saying some pretty wild stuff, and normal business ads were rolling on some of the edgiest content on YouTube. Well, what ended up happening was some of the people who bought those products contacted the businesses and said, hey, did you know that you're kind of sponsoring some really edgy, terrible stuff? And as a result, those businesses pulled from YouTube. Millions, tens of millions of dollars evaporated overnight. And as a result, like people, a healthy chunk of YouTubers totally lost, 90% of their revenue. Not just that, but political YouTubers in particular found that they were under increasing and intense scrutiny that made political commentary on YouTube less and less lucrative over time. And as a result, some of them just abandoned the genre altogether. And then not only that, but could you imagine if this happened on Twitch? Like, listen, I dual stream between YouTube and Twitch. I get like, half a dozen viewers on Twitch. So I get, $50, $100 every couple of months. So it's no skin off of me. I'm not paying my bills using Twitch revenue. But Twitch payouts, considering what you get, is actually pretty high. So I would not be surprised if some companies contact the CEO of Twitch. I would not be surprised if some companies pull out. And I actually think it would be quite hilarious and fitting if a giga progressive company like Twitch took a major financial hit because they were sweeping for a creator who in turn was sweeping for international, well, I guess they're not international, they're domestic, aren't they? I should be accurate. Domestic terrorist organizations, and by domestic I just mean the Houthis are domestic and they're interested in Yemen, and the Hamas is domestic in that they're interested in Gaza. So that's what I mean by domestic. So yeah, have fun playing jihadist, Hasan. Have fun playing cool on the internet. I hope you get what's coming to you, which is going to be a severe demonetization. Massive amounts of people on Twitch blaming you for their version of the adpocalypse, and also being increasingly a social pariah as people realize that you're a freak. That's what I'm looking forward to. So thank you, Mr. Ethan Klein. I do appreciate you having the stones to attack your former podcast mate. I think there's plenty of people, including myself, who wish that had happened earlier, but I understand that having a relationship with somebody and being friends with somebody for a prolonged period, it might cause you to stay your hand in ways that you might otherwise not. And so I appreciate you being patient and amicable for as long as you can, but now you can't, so you got to say something about it. Good job. Good job, Mr. Ethan. Duly appreciated. All right, so for y'all who are watching me, like, share, subscribe, dislike, comment below, have fun, and go to patreon.com/counterpoints if you want to become a patron. Appreciate you. Catch you in the next one. Godspeed. Bye for now.